Hi, everyone. I appreciate everyone who's taking the time to be able to listen to this presentation, as well as everyone who is presenting a photographer themselves. The photographer I chose to present is no other than the legendary Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks is a photojournalist, true Renaissance man, but he's from Fort Scott, Kansas. He was born in 1912, and here is a photo of Muhammad Ali. Gordon Parks is to his left, our right, and then to Muhammad Ali's right is his trainers. This is just a photo just to be able to capture the relationship that Gordon Parks and Muhammad Ali had. Something that I really think is really powerful. I chose Gordon Parks because of his ambition exemplified in his photojournalism, like beautiful photos like this, and his journey as he emerged as one of the most prolific creators of his generation. An author, filmmaker, painter, classical composer, he wore many hats in his time. Pictured here uh, is Florence L. Fletcher. This is one of Gordon's favorite models during this time. It's actually funny. Gordon bought a Voigtlander reflecting mirror at a pawn shop for $12.50 when he lived in St. Louis, Minnesota. He moved there because when he was 15, his mother had tragically passed, and he went to go live in Minnesota with his sister. Um, he used that camera and basically had a lot of self-taught work. He did work for a lot of local black newspapers in Minnesota. That became his start. And once he got it figured out there, he had moved to Chicago. Did a lot of great work there for like some magazines, things of that nature, and then got his shot in Washington D.C. He had a lot of early influences early on. He had mentioned that for like a newsreel that he was watching when he was young that captured the bombing of the USS Panay. There was a man that was named for capturing the entire newsreel. His name was Norman Alley. He envisioned himself being there one day in terms of being in this respected as one of the greater photographers there. He also mentions Dorothy Lange, somebody who had captured the people who were migrating from the Dust Bowl and how it had devastated basically middle America during that time. That was something that really struck him and led him to this point to make really striking photography. Here is a lady by the name of Ella Watson. She worked for the FSA as a janitor, and her story was very interesting as well. But this photo is meant to be able to capture the perspective of the reality for a lot of black women. She had a lot of things going on in her life. Her husband had just passed away. She had been taking care of a lot of kids and her grandchildren in her home. So this photo, it speaks volumes in terms of the life of not only just black people, but black women in America being set having a second class citizenship. It speaks a lot here how powerful this photo is. Gordon Parks also did a lot of great fashion photography. In this photo, the carousel is the thing that catches my eye every time. It's a really great photo that I like from this. He did a lot of great work for magazines. This is a for I believe Vogue magazine. He worked as a freelancer. This was captured in the 1940s, late 1940s, early 1950s. Did a lot of great fashion photography. You can see here the two models that are standing here. They have a lot more work that you can look into on your own. He has millions of photos when it comes to his work with magazines, but I like this one in particular. It's a really nice photo. This photo here is of a French fashion model. Her name is Simone Bodine. This is taken in 1956 in New Jersey at a tannery. Tanneries, I never even knew what a tannery was, but it makes sense. A tannery is essentially where they produce leather. And this is where you can see in the background where the skins are being processed and things of that nature. So it's making the material. I like the steam in the background. I like her outfit in terms of what she's wearing, and the lighting is really nice. How it's dark in the background and how her outfit kind of stands out. The lighting is making it to where she is the dominant subject in the photo. It's really nice. Here are three photos. I mentioned that he had a good partnership with different magazines across his time, across his career, being a photographer, which is really good for him. It built a base. Uh, the first the first photo that I have pictured is of Flavio da Silva. In 1961, he was sent on assignment to go to Brazil and be able to capture the Rio's working class neighborhoods known as favelas. Here, he had made contact with this young boy who was physically fatigued, coughing, and he smiled, and from there, I think that captured his attention, and he just started to stay with his family, obviously with permission, but stay with his family, and this created notably probably one of his most notable projects of his career. It's a really a great project. I recommend people just go and look at this for Flavio da Silva. It's a really great project. In the middle, we have a picture of Malcolm X, one of my heroes. Gordon and Malcolm had immense respect for each other, and it's no different here. This photo is one of very few photos that captures Malcolm X in color. I've seen many photos of Malcolm X over the course of my life, but a lot of them are black and white. This one being color. It's really nice. Looks like he's preparing to deliver a speech in Harlem in 1963. Really nice photo. This photo to the top right is of Muhammad Ali, again, one of the greatest boxers, if not the greatest boxer of all time. Parks took many hits, many photos of Ali as he worked for Life magazine during this time. I believe Muhammad Ali was preparing for a fight against Henry Cooper in London in 1966 in this photo. I just like how his head is down, looks like he's focused and ready to go to war. Yeah. This photo here is of Gordon Parks getting into filmmaking. I believe this photo was from The Learning Tree, the set of The Learning Tree. Learning Tree started off as a book that Gordon Parks had written. It's an autobiographical, autobiographical autobiographical novel that he produced, and he wanted to be able to make it come to life with the entire production. It's a really beautiful story in terms of his upbringing and how he had came about becoming a man. I like this photo because it captures the entire process of him in his directorial debut and giving some of the people who were helping him and everything like that. It's hard for a black man to make a film in this time. I don't think that that's uh, really overstated here, but it's a beautiful thing to be able to be captured. This is also a photo from the set of another one of his films called Shaft in 1971. Picture here is Gordon Parks and his lead actor by the name of Richard Roundtree. Shaft is a movie about a black detective, suave, smooth black detective who is taking down crime bosses in New York City. Um, this is a beautiful photo because you can see here the respect between the two artists, knowing that they're making history here. Richard Roundtree, the individual to the right, unfortunately passed this year. I love this photo. It just it speaks so much to me. It speaks volumes. I really like what's being conveyed here. In these three photos here, we have to the top left is a Black Muslim story titled "What Their Cries Mean to Me." It definitely sheds a light on what's going on with the Nation of Islam during that time, how strong black nationalism was. The women that are here obviously are in the middle of mosque, and just how beautiful it's captured in the black and white. I really like that. The photo in the middle is a picture of Chicago police. They had a very heavy presence in Chicago at this time, as they were heavily policing the communities, and namely criminalizing black people in this time. So I think from the perspective, I think he just wanted to be able to capture the perspective of black folks and what they had seen from being apprehended and placed in the back of a squad car. It's a very terrifying scene, but I think that it speaks volumes. It's right on par with his brand of photography, as well as the bottom picture, his fashion photography here. You can see how elegantly dressed they are. This set was designed by Jaquez Fath. It's a beautiful, very beautiful scene of them in a popular dress at that time, ball gowns. I like that photo because it's very simple, but it's very elegant. And this is another just look at the photos that he was able to create with Life magazine. I really like what he did with the cover at the bottom left. The bottom left is just looks it just it's eye catching. Truthfully, I think that it's something that is meant to be able to let America know that there is a consensus of America that is screaming as caged birds and are not being heard. And the cover is very much so conveying that hurt, that desire to be heard. So I really like that. The middle story is a coverage that he had did on a gang leader in Harlem. It's one of the first stories that he had proposed to Life magazine to be able to cover. Red Jackson was the leader of a gang called the Midtowners. Parks had hoped to be able to bring the story of the brutality taking place in Harlem to light. It was something that was very rampant at that time during like the 1950s, 1960s. In this, he definitely gives many accounts of what was going on in Jackson's life, the gang wars, especially like a story of Parks having to run from an rival gang during a funeral, which is a whole nother thing. It's very chaotic, but it's a really nice story. The photos of it are very beautiful. The top right is another photo that I just extremely loved. I just really like that photo. It's a really nice photo. Vintage, the vintage car, everything, her dress being in the middle of the street. I love New York. New York is a very beautiful place. I would wish to go back very soon. This photo is a photo of Gordon Parks. I just chose this photo because it embodies triumph and gratitude. He was a very accomplished man. As I mentioned, he wore many hats in his lifetime. Very accomplished man. And I believe that the people around him are giving him his flowers. I really hope that as a man of his stature, he was getting his flowers while he was here. You can see like the newer equipment, the digital photos that are the digital cameras that are around him. It's a beautiful scene. He looks like he's very overjoyed and happy with the life that he had lived up until that point. Thank you for listening. This is pretty much all I have. Enjoy this photo. Um, thank you. Thank you so much.